let's move along here. This game might be sneaky, this game might be the sexiest when you look at it. Looking at what these teams just did, the Chargers versus the Ravens. You just look at last week, an all-time Justin Herbert game, probably his best game as a pro. Threw for 4 touchdowns, ran for 1, 47-42 win over the Browns. Lamar Jackson, too, overcame a 19-point deficit. He accounted for 504 of 523 yards by the Ravens. Absolutely carried them. 37 for 43. Absurd accuracy from him. You look at them, they're probably top 5, I should say, not top 2, in the MVP race, both 4-1. I think this could be a really good game. I'm really excited to see what they do. You look at their numbers across the board, they're shockingly really similar besides the rushing yards, completion percentage, yards thrown, passer rating, everything like that. So I think we're going to see a ton of points. I don't expect the defenses to really step up here. I think this will be 2 great games from the quarterbacks. You guys might pick in a minute here, but I'm wondering what you're looking at.
Yeah, good game. Honestly, we picked out a few games to talk about today, and if I look at the games we listed, I honestly think this is probably the best one. I think Justin Herbert is becoming, if not already, a top 5 quarterback in this league. They obviously made the right move in terms of head coach. The Chargers, obviously, getting rid of Anthony Lynn turned out to be the right decision, so props to them. Look, the way the Chiefs are going, this is going to sound crazy, but I would not be shocked if the Chargers maybe not win the division, but are in play down the stretch with the AFC West. I think they're that good. It's just at least offensively. Shout out my boy Keenan Allen on my fantasy team for getting me the points. Always got to get the fantasy shout outs to my squad. I'm 5-0 this year, people. So it's probably the best team I've ever had, but injuries are starting to get up to me. But nobody cares about my fantasy team, so what's the point? Anyway, this game, Chargers, great team. Baltimore, I will say this, the Ravens, Lamar Jackson, that huge comeback against last week. Just awesome game coming against the Colts. And I'll be honest, I was a bit of a Lamar Jackson doubter, especially after his, the very first season when he was a rookie and that bad playoff game. And obviously he went on to win MVP, don't get me wrong, but still he had kind of yet to show in the playoffs. He has now shown me enough, and I know I should have been satisfied by the MVP, but I don't know. But he I was always concerned, can he win you a game with his arm? He totally can. Lamar Jackson is just a beast. He's a freak. People always wanted to compare him to Michael Vick. He's better than Michael Vick.
100%.
It's not even close. So it comes down to the quarterbacks in this game. I honestly don't know who's better. Man, this is tough. I mean, I'll just go with the former MVP. I just got to go with the Ravens. But the Chargers, I mean, when we think about it, beat Cleveland, who I think is a solid team, beat the Chiefs. I mean, oh, man, I don't know. I'll just go with the Ravens, but I really can see it either way. This is going to be a good game.
I think this will be the most back and forth. It's the one where I probably have the least confidence in my pick. And you talked about Lamar. There's no reason for him to have any more doubt. I agree. There are definitely questions of him as a passer after the MVP year. But your question, can he win you a game with his arm? Absolutely. It's what he just did in prime time. So 100% he gets the credit. Brandon Staley, too. I'm glad you brought him up. By far, I was looking at the rookie head coaches for our Jet segment prepping. None of them have done really anything besides Staley, which is another reason I'm not.
You're not a big fan of Arthur Smith?
I'm not. Which is another reason, though, I'm not really out on Robert Saleh, just because besides this team, which has a lot of talent, none of them are really, making.
Quick aside, Urban Meyer, really great job in Jacksonville. Trevor Lawrence should avoid Jets at all costs because, Jacksonville is such a great option to go to. Good job, everybody. That I know you feel the same way. Yeah, that is the most annoying national media storyline that has ever existed, but I digress.
It was horrible. But this is where the guys are now. And I look at the Ravens, and I know they're 4-1. They're very lucky to be 4-1. The Lions win they had a few weeks ago, it took the kick of all time, maybe, the longest kick in NFL history by the greatest kicker in NFL history, Justin Tucker, to win that game versus a Lions team that's still looking for the first win. Then last week, too, you had to come back from 19 on the Colts. Fortunate to get the ball in overtime, everything like that. I think they're playing with a little too much fire. Chargers, on the other hand, going for it the way they did last game when they realized the defense had nothing, showed me a lot. They have a lot of trust in Herbert. I think he's been the best quarterback on 3rd and long this year. So I'm going to pick the Chargers. I think it's going to be really close. I think with 5 minutes left, it's going to be a lot of chaos back and forth. Really slight victory for me. I do feel like they will win this game by maybe a game-winning field goal, something like that. But I think I'm more confident in this pick than you overall because you seem to be wavering a bit. But I'm confident the Chargers pull it off.
Yeah, I mean, look, at the end of the day, when it comes to picks, I mean, your insight, my insight, it's just as good as anybody. I mean, I don't care who you are. There's no such thing as an expert in terms of these picks. I just want a good game, and I think we'll get it with this one.